Hey guys, welcome back. I got an awesome video. It's really going to help you out with your driver. I'm going to give you some of my best tips to smooth out your swing, to hit the ball a lot straighter, and to have that great finish just like we all want. Let's go and get started. All right, so it all starts with our three transitions, and there's three major transitions in the swing. That's from when your club is sitting stationary behind the ball to when it very first starts moving. That's your first transition. So it's transitioning from stopped to starting the swing. That's one key area we want to get right. The second transition is from the top of the swing, starting the downswing. So when our hands stop going back and start going down. And then number three, when we finish the swing, when my hands come around to a good full finish and they're stopping there. If I can make each of these three transitions really smooth, your accuracy is going to go through the roof. It makes the golf swing a lot easier to control because it makes the face a lot easier to feel. We're going to get to that even more in the second part of this drill. But let's start out with the first transition here. This is going to be from stopping to starting the swing. What I want you to do is go ahead and let's knock a ball off the tee. Let's just make some practice swings here. And I'm going to see just how smooth I can take the club from being stopped to started. Now, if you're doing this really good, it's almost tough to see when the club actually starts to move. So if you're watching just the club head, you'll see that I'm really making it slow and then going to the top. And then I'm going to swing all the way on through. So we're just focusing in on the very first piece, but I want you to make a full swing back and through so it builds us into more of a realistic type swing. If I just set the club down here and I start my transition and then I go to there and then go back again and start my transition, that's great. But when I put a ball there, I try to make a real swing, it's not really going to relate. You're not building that muscle memory. So again, let's do 10 total shots, 10 total swings, where we try to make this swing as smooth as possible to start our transition, the top, and then we're all the way on through to a good full finish. Now we're going to bring in the second piece where we do 10 more going at the second transition, which is going from the top of the swing starting down. Now the key to this one is to get a good wide backswing. If I cut off my backswing short, let's imagine I make this first transition really smooth, but I stop my swing right here with my hands just about shoulders height, it's going to be really tough to be smooth. I only have from here to here where my hands are going to be at impact to create speed. Now, do you think you could create maybe 120 miles an hour club head speed like the pros in this little tiny short period of distance? Almost impossible to do. So we've got to lengthen this up as much as we can. The drill I want you to do for this is actually not making a golf swing, but just kind of making a practice swing with it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to feel like I'm turning around and putting my hands up above my head here. Now this isn't a golf swing again. We're going to turn our eye completely off the ball. We're going to turn our head all the way back, but we're just going to make this as long as we can. So again, smooth transition, and I'm going to go all the way up here. I won't even look behind me until I get my hands as far back as I can go, and then I'll swing through. So really smooth, let the hands turn all the way back, and then I'm going to come all the way on around. So it's kind of goofy, not really a golf swing. Your head's moving around. You wouldn't be able to hit a ball doing that, but it really gets you to stretch out and get farther back. Now we've done a few of those. Let's go ahead and make this more like a real golf swing. You're still trying to go far back, but again, from when you stop your backswing and start your downswing, really smooth. Should be tough to differentiate between when you're going back and when you're starting down if we do this correctly. So there's the first smooth one. There's the second smooth one at the top. And then finally, I'm going to finish my swing with a really smooth transition also. As I come on through, I want my hands just to kind of come around and glide to a stop. I don't want my hands to do something like this and really rebound and kick the club back. I want my hands to come through and really slow down very smooth. Let that club come all the way around your head until it's wrapped around. If you're not as flexible, it's completely fine. You don't have to worry about going all the way around like you'd see with Adam Scott or somebody like that. Just go as far as comfortable with you. Now when I put all three of these together, and after I've done a good 5 to 10 practice reps with each of those pieces, start, top, and finish, now I can make a good swing hitting a ball. So I'm going to feel like these transitions are so smooth, but because I'm creating so much space, you'll be surprised how far this ball actually goes. Just listen to the sound of this when I hit it, even though it's nice and smooth. There we go. That was rocked right down the middle, straight as a string. I would be thrilled with that shot, but I never felt like I rushed at any part of the swing. Let's go ahead and talk about the second piece. All right, now we're gonna work on face direction. I got a really easy drill for you here. What causes the ball to draw is when my path or the direction I'm swinging is to the right, but my face is turning on over to the left. So in this drill, we're really gonna exaggerate. Probably don't recommend that you work on it with a big pond in front of the tee box. It's probably not the best idea because we're gonna be hitting some crazy shots here, but we're just gonna really work on getting that ball to curve a ton to the right, from right to left, and then we're gonna go the other way, get it to curve a ton from left to right. So we're really getting a big draw and then a big fade. From there, it's much easier to straighten things out. What I'm gonna feel when I'm doing this, let me go ahead and move this ball. I'm gonna feel like I turn my entire body inside out. So or kind of where it's swinging the club inside out. So if here's me setting up square at address, I'm gonna turn everything, like there's a giant plane of glass going here out to the right, and then I'm gonna swing down that plane of glass. That's my inside out swing. Go ahead and do this maybe about 15 or 20 times just to get comfortable swinging out to the right this way. Now you'll notice here, my shoulders and my hips are much more closed. You'll notice that most of my weight's gonna feel like it's on the right foot. So as I'm coming and starting my downswing, I feel like it's still on my right foot. I haven't jumped way up here, or I'll be swinging to the left. And I'm just letting that club swing on that plane of glass. Now once I get comfortable with that, I'm gonna go ahead and let that face rotate on over. So when I would be hitting the ball, that face is gonna be pointing to the left. So now I'm swinging to the right, but my club face is releasing and pointing to the left. That's gonna get that ball, if we do this drill, to hook a good 20, 30, maybe even 40 yards. Let's try it out. Hopefully we'll be able to see this on camera. I'm not gonna hit it very far. I probably would hit it the distance of the water, but I don't wanna lose my golf ball here. But again, I'm gonna imagine that plane of glass. I'm gonna swing out to the right. See if we can get this thing to really turn on over. Oh, did it get over? Oh, I may have cleared the water by about a foot, but it did exactly what we wanted to do. It's not gonna be a pretty shot. You're not gonna win any driving records with this, but you're gonna get that thing to really turn that way. Now, we're gonna turn the other way. Let me actually go toward the camera so it's easier to see. On the last one, we had tilted everything this direction. That would look like this as I'm swinging this way. Now we're gonna take that same plane of glass, we're gonna tilt it in the other direction. You may wanna move the ball a little bit farther up towards your front foot as you're doing this, but now I'm gonna swing from right to left. So I'll get the ball out of the way, plane of glass is here, and I'm swinging really across the ball. This is a big slice. I'm gonna have that face open as I'm coming through here, or pointing what would be to the right, to get it to slice across the ball and get a lot of curvature. So again, 20, 30 swings, just get very, very comfortable getting that shot, that club to curve across the ball, have that face feeling like it's wide open. Most players who struggle with a slice will feel like this is the easiest drill ever, and I'm really gonna get that ball to curve from left to right. So that one sliced a lot, that one's gotta be in the water. Oh, barely on the edge. So it's not about hitting good shots here, it's just about getting that ball to curve to the right, getting that ball to curve to the left. You're probably thinking of this like, this is probably the dumbest drill I've ever heard in my life. Why in the world, if I'm trying to hit it straight, would I want to have this big curvature on the ball? Well, the reason is once we learn to slice and to draw, or in this case, hook and slice, then we can start to straighten that out. If I get a little too much slice, I can tap into the feeling I had when I hit a draw and just do a little tiny bit of it. And then when I get a little bit too much hook the other way, I can tap into the feeling when I had a slice and straighten it out from there. That's the absolute best way to learn how to straighten the ball out. Now let's kick it up a notch and make it to where we can actually straighten this out. Now we're ready for the straight shots. What I want you to do for this draw shot, when we're gonna start out, instead of having that ball curve 30 and 40 yards, now I'm just gonna have it curve 5 or 10 feet. I'm gonna line up slightly toward the right side of the fairway. So I'm lining up toward the right center. I'm imagining that swing path out to the right, and I'm gonna do that same thing, except for this time, I'm only gonna do about 1/10 of what I was doing before to get that ball just to curve a little tiny bit. Let's go ahead and try that out. There we go, nice little tiny draw on that one. That one started down the right center, kind of stayed there, just barely turned back. That means I'm doing exactly what I'm trying to do. Now, if you try to do that swing and you slice one, and that ball starts to the left and starts to curve, we know we really need to exaggerate the opposite feeling. So whatever bad result you're getting, just have the opposite feeling to straighten that out. And I tell you, a lot of times people will watch a video like this, they'll think, okay, yeah, I get the drill. I don't really need to go out and do that. I get the idea. I'll just kind of maybe practice that every once in a while. I'm telling you, I've worked on this with hundreds of students. I've had entire courses on this. We call this the ball striking masterclass. I've done really extensive drills on this, and I promise you, if you only do one drill, this is right up there with the best in the world. You want to drive it straight, actually go to the range, work on hitting these different shots, and taking those big curvatures, tightening those up, and then eventually you're going to get where you're hitting that ball dead straight with very little curve on it, and you're going to be able to change the feeling like that. It all comes down to having feeling and awareness of where this club face is, and that's what's really going to help you to hit the driver straight. So don't skip this part of the drill. This, I can't stress, maybe not the most exciting drill in the world, but I tell you, it's going to help your game more than anything else. All right, this part I call lift to launch, and you're going to lift your lead shoulder, your lead hip, and your lead arm to launch the ball. It's going to help you to launch it higher. It's going to help you to get a lot more speed. So like we talked about in some of the other videos, is you got to have a lot of lag to create that speed. This is getting a good angle between my forearm and my club. Now from here, the only way to get speed is I have to get rid of this angle out in front of the golf ball. The straight line release, like we talk about in the top speed golf system, happens in front of the ball. I'm taking this lag, I'm releasing it to the straight line release. The ball's just getting in the way. Now, if I want to get this club to really whip through there with a lot of speed, I have to turn up the handle as hard as I can, and that starts from the ground up. We're going to lift from our hip, our shoulder, and then our arm. Now, the first piece of this is starting from the lower body. As you start your downswing, let's go ahead and get a little bit of a squat here to feel like we're really loaded up into the ground. Now, as we're starting to come down farther, my hands are going to get pretty low. You notice how they're fairly close to the ground, and from here, I want to feel like I lift my front hip. So if you were imagining you were going to kind of squat down like this and lift your hips toward the target, that would be what's called extension, and you can see how my hips are moving upward as this is happening. Same thing's happening in the golf swing. I'm just turned sideways as I'm doing that. Watch my hips and how they lift as I'm coming on through. All I'm doing there is I'm adding rotation with the move where we're just lifting straight up. When you put those two together, that's like a golf swing. The second piece of that is the shoulders. Now they're rotating around just like we worked on that first drill, that plane of glass. As I start to lift my left shoulder and lift from my lower body, notice how this shoulder moves around my body and behind my body. That's a big piece of this club turning up to get the club to whip. Now, since my arm is attached to my body, it's kind of the last piece of the chain. If you watch just the logo of my glove or just my glove hand, here it's low. As my legs and my shoulder lift, that club is gonna, or that hand is gonna move up, and that whips my club through contact. So that's a big piece when you're starting out playing golf, or even golfers that are down to a low single-digit handicap, but you don't have that huge amount of club head speed like you see some players getting. That's letting the club do the work for you, letting the club accelerate under its own speed versus trying to muscle it through there with your hands and arms. So we have to lift to launch this golf ball. Now, we're gonna do a little practice drill here where I want you to bend your legs, get your knees far apart. I'm squatting down, my hands are kind of low, and then from there I'm gonna lift up and I'm gonna have my hands extend out and go nice and high. So the first piece just with the body is that lifting move with rotation. Then I'm gonna add my shoulder to that. This goes back behind my body. Piece number two. Piece number three, I'm gonna let my hands move up and come all the way on through. So that nice high long finish all the way coming around. Put those three pieces together, work on those a good 20 to 30 practice reps. It's gonna look something like this. I'm going down, I'm pausing, going real slow, and then I'm coming all the way on around. You can see how that club head wants to take off and really speed up when I do that. 20 to 30 reps, don't worry about hitting a ball doing that yet. Then once you build some muscle memory, once you start to feel pretty comfortable doing that, we can take that to the course, actually hitting a ball. Start out at the driving range going nice and slow, and then gradually build up your speed until we get to the full swing. So now that I'm gonna hit this full swing, you'll see I'm not really trying to hit with a lot of power. I'm nice and smooth, but if you listen to the sound of the ball, it's really gonna have a good pop on it. All right, guys, work on those three really good drills. They're gonna help you with your driving, and you're gonna have so much more fun out there. In the beginning of this video, we talked about how we need to have those nice smooth transitions and make this big turn in our golf swing. That's what we call the power turn in the top speed golf system. It's probably one of the best things you can do for your swing speed. And in fact, our members within the first 45 days, on average, they gain about 11 yards of driving distance. That's a pretty good gain for a relatively short period of time. We've had members write in that have even gained 40 and 50 yards of driving distance. So it's really exciting when we think about that. Well, I'm going to play a preview of one of our best power turn videos, and it's going to show you how to get really wound up, get some more speed, and make golf a lot more fun. If you want to see that full video, just click the card that pops up on your screen or down below in the link in the description. You'll get instant access to that video, plus a lot of free bonuses. I'll see you guys soon. With the correct technique, we can all hit it with really good distance without a lot of muscular effort. And it all starts out, the very first thing you have to do is get a good powerful turn to load up the body. And it's not only in golf, but in all sports we have to rotate the body. At least 90 degrees with the shoulders as you swing to the top. Preferably, we can go even a little bit past 90 to really get loaded up. That's going to allow us to have a lot of power. So we don't just have to look at golf for this. Let's actually look at other sports. They're rotating their body, then they're coming forward. So we have to get that load. We have to get this big shoulder turn to be able to create power in the golf swing. So in this series of videos, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. That's one of the first keys to getting power, and we're all going to get at least a 90-degree turn, if not more than that. I think you'll be surprised at what you can do. So let's go ahead and get started with the next series of videos, and I'm going to show you how to get this big, powerful turn. All right, guys, so before we go, let's take a look at this in action with some of the top pros. Now here we're looking at Adam Scott, and you're going to see as he rotates to the top, good full shoulder turn. This is pretty typical of what I see with the top pros, a little past 90. Those guys are working on their flexibility, so sometimes they can get to 100 or even 110 degrees.